Okay, this is a bit of an experiment, really, to share with you some of the processes I go through as I'm writing something in exam conditions. This case, it's an essay, and this is the task here. Your teacher has asked you to write an essay, giving your opinion on the following statement. Money is not the most important thing in life. Write your essay in 120 to 180 words in an appropriate style. Okay, so that's a very typical FCE writing task, and I now need to, first of all, plan how I'm going to write it. I should apologize for my terrible handwriting. Hopefully you'll be able to follow me by listening to what I say, even if you can't follow what I'm actually writing. So it's an essay. Who would this normally be for? Who would be reading this? It's going to be a teacher, usually. It should be well organized. I should have an introduction, some development, and then a conclusion. I've got to write 120 to 180 words, so I need an introduction and a conclusion. I'm going to estimate here, maybe if I were to have 30 words for each of those, that would leave me with 120 maximum that I could divide in my development of my essay. I can change those numbers later if I think I'm getting too much or too little information. What else do I need to think about? I'm looking at the statement here. Money is not the most important thing in life. It's perfectly fine if I disagree with that. Maybe I want to say money is the most important thing in life. As it happens, I think I agree with this statement. Money is not the most important thing in life. So probably I will end with my arguments for agreeing, and I will have up here my arguments for disagreeing. I think what I'm going to do for my essay, you don't have to do it this way at all, but for me it would make most sense to compare the two sides to the argument. So I'll probably have around 60 words for each. What kinds of arguments can I think of for disagreeing with this statement? Money is not the most important thing in life. Well, I suppose disadvantages of being poor, not having enough money, the things that money can buy you. Such as health, sometimes at least, and education, opportunities to travel, along with things like food, housing. And I think some of those we might call these basic necessities. In fact, I now think I might talk about the basic necessities in my conclusion, because if your basic needs or necessities in life are met, that means you have the basic things, then perhaps there's an easier argument that money is not the most important. And in terms of agreeing, I guess we need to talk about those things that money famously cannot buy you, like love. And I suppose that comes along with many things, like relationships, specifically family. We know that there's, many people would say rather, there is never enough money. No matter how rich you are, you never feel you've got enough. So I've probably got enough planning here, and looking at the time, I think I need to make sure that I stick within a reasonable time here, so I'm going to time myself just to make sure, really. I would argue that you should be able to do a task like this in around 15 minutes.